Hello again. Welcome to Chess Base Workshop. I'm Steve Lopez. Thanks for clicking that link and joining us. We've been looking at having engines play against each other in the Fritz interface. Fritz, Ribka, Shredder, who'd I forget, Hierarchs, and Junior all share the same interface, and they share the same commands. You can get them to do the same things the same way. You can get them to play against each other. And that's what we've looked at in the last couple of chess-based workshops. We've had a look at how to get an engine to play against itself, how to get an engine to play against another engine, but now you can do a little battle royal if you want to. You can have multiple engines play against each other in an engine tournament, and that's what we're going to look at today. How to set that up, how to run it, and what you get when you're done. So let's go here, first of all, to the engine menu in the Fritz, Ribka, Shredder, Hierarchs, and Junior interface. Click here, engine. You got a big button here. It says tournament. That's where you want to go. We're going to set up a new engine tournament, just like the mouse over says. So we're going to click on it, and bada bing, there we are. We have a dialog that allows us to name the file. Name it whatever you want to, give it a unique name. I've already run a couple. This is September when I'm doing this. I'm a little behind on my time here. '09C. You can give it a name. You can give it a fancy name if you want to. It doesn't matter. I just want to be able to differentiate between tournaments. So you click New Open, and you come to this dialog. What you want to do, first of all, is you want to invite some engines. You can also be part of this, by the way. I'll show you how to do that if you wish. But you can invite engines. Just click on that. You get your scrolling list of engines that you can pick from. Now, I'm not going to set a hash table size. I'm not going to set a book size yet. I'll show you how to do that after a bit. But I'm going to click on Fritz 12, bring that in. Come down here. We will pick Shredder, value Shredder. And I'm going to pick a couple amateur engines. So while I'm here, we'll scroll down and we'll get Hagrid. And we'll invite another engine called Beowulf. So we've picked 4 engines. You can also invite yourself to play, invite a human to play. I'm in there now, but I'm not going to play in this. I'm just going to go ahead, but I'm showing you how to do it. Invite human, it pops you in there by your last name, whatever you selected when you have that login screen the first time you start Fritz or one of these programs. But I'm going to take myself out of there. I'm going to look, ooh, I just deleted myself. Now what you want to do is you want to unify the book, unify the hash tables. That way all of the participants are using the same opening book, and they're all going to use the same hash table size. So unify a book, click on it, and you can pick a book, which I have done. I'm going to use the Fritz 12.ctg book. Unify hash. I'm going to make it a small number, the reason being I'm making a video here. So I'm going to go for it. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's do 256. 256 meg hash tables. Click OK. And now all of the engines will use the same opening book. They will use the same size hash tables, making it relatively fair. A couple things other things you can set. First of all, you're going to want to set a time control. Just click on your option here. I'm not going to have it play a huge, long game under tournament time controls because that'd be crazy. It'd go on forever. But just to demonstrate how to do it, just click on the game type and you can set what you want. I'm going to do the 4-minute with 2-second increment, kind of the default. Cycles. 1 cycle means they're going to play 6 games. It's all play all. If you do a round robin tournament, well, let me go over here first. Tournament type round robin, run the gauntlet, knockout, and Swiss. Knockout, of course, means that when an engine loses, it's out of the event. That's really good for when you have a whole pile of engines and you want to do kind of like a drag racing thing. Swiss, of course, if you've played in chess tournaments, you're familiar with the idea of Swiss. Round robin, also known in this case, if there's 4 players, as a quad here in the U.S. Then there's run the gauntlet, and what that basically means is that every engine is going to play. Well, here you can go to the help file and read about it. Every engine is going to run the gauntlet of all the other engines. Is basically how that's going to work. It's a very kind of strange deal, but you can read about it in the help file. I never use the thing. If you pick round robin, you can have cycles. I'm going to have 6 games. If I pick 2 cycles, I want to put 12 games where every engine plays every engine twice. Move limit, I leave it at 600 because, you know, no game's going to go that long. so that's fine. Just leave that alone. Permanent brain, leave that off, because you don't want an engine trying to think while the other engine is trying to think. You want to give each engine as much of the processor as you can. So leave permanent brain off. Book learning is your option. Basically, the results of these games will go into the opening book and influence later games that use that same opening book. Again, that's your option, whether you want to use that or not. Whenever you're ready to go, you just click Run Continue. You can pause these things, tournaments, in the middle. So that's why it says Run/Continue. Going to go ahead and click it, let her rip. This should look familiar. There we go. It says B because they're still in the book. They're firing through moves in the opening book, and now Beowulf is out of book. Beowulf is thinking. So we have two engines working on this here. I want to show you something else here in a second. Of course, your clocks are up here for white and black. The moves are recorded down here. Oh, they went back in the book, transposed back into some book moves. You saw them flash through some moves there. That was cool. You can go up here and take a look at the game score so far. Scroll up and down through it if you wish. Material balance is shown down here. And you can change the way moves are displayed. For example, Beowulf, you're seeing the ongoing process of what it thinks ply by ply is the best move. If you come down here and click scroll main line, Fritz will do the same thing as it thinks. That's pretty much it. You can stop the process at any time. You can adjudicate a game if for some reason you feel that you need to slap a result. You can influence results by clicking adjudicate game and just basically declaring one engine the winner. You can click on cross table. Generally after a couple games have been played, you can click on cross table and see what's happened so far. If you click on it now, you're just going to get this display. There have been no results. That's it. We're going to let this run, and then we're going to come back and take a look at what we have when this is over. This is going to run probably, with the time control I've set, probably about an hour, maybe a little longer. So we're going to stop the video, and when you hear me again, we'll look at the results of what happened in this tournament between these four engines and show you how to look at these things. Well, it's now about an hour later, a little more than an hour, and we have our result. We have our 6 games, and we have a pop-up that will appear. What will happen is when the tournament ends, the engine versus engine screen where you're able to watch the games will go away, and you'll see a game list for your tournament, and you'll see this that says Tournament Complete. When you click OK, it boots you back to the main chessboard screen where you can see the final result of the final game. So if you want to see your games, of course, you can always click the database button, navigate to that database if it's not showing. And by the way, we do have a database which has multiple games in it here. If you highlight the first game of that particular tournament, you remember this was 2011-09C, you can go up here to the button that says Cross Table and get a cross table and see how everybody did. And what we've got here is that out of 3 games, Fritz and Shredder got 2.5 apiece, and if you look closely, you'll see that Shredder 12 and Fritz 12 tied each other. Haggard won 1 game against Beowulf. Beowulf didn't win a game, and there was a tie break, by the way, also, and it doesn't matter. They actually tie. It's 2.5 to 2.5, and it was 2.25 on tie break. Doesn't make a lick of difference. You've got a tie between these 2 engines, so you wind up with that. And if you double click, by the way, you couldn't see that I just did that, but if you go back to your game list and your cross table, if you double click on a game, let's say, engine 1 against engine 2, which was this game right here. If you double click on it, it kicks you to that game, and you could just play through it. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you can get an evaluation profile of this as well. There we go. There's our evaluation profile. What's interesting about the evaluation profile, however, is this, that you will frequently, when you have 2 engines playing each other, see evaluation profiles where white is winning, then on the next turn black is winning, then on the next turn white is winning, then on the next move black is winning. It's because the evaluation profile is always generated from the side to move, the moving side. That's where the values and figures for the evaluation profile come from. So as we've seen in a couple of previous videos, you do have some particularly amateur engines that tend to overestimate their chances a little bit. They tend to be a little bit optimistic about their chances. And you do see, for example, where Fritz will be playing some amateur engine or shredder, and there'll be a significant advantage that Fritz or shredder is showing when it moves, and then you go to the other engine, the engine showing that it's winning by a little bit, because they tend to be a little bit optimistic. If you really want to get a really good evaluation profile of a game, what you can do, and this is interesting, but you can go back to your game list, and if you want to, you could actually go up here to database and select an analysis form and have a third engine that was not part of your tournament analyze your games, and that will give you another interesting little look at these engines. You'll be able to see where a particular engine did well or did poorly through the eyes of a third engine that wasn't part of the tournament. Also note what I just did there, which is you can always go to the game list and double click on a game and load it that way as well. They don't have to be loaded directly from the cross table. The cross table is just a convenience, but you can simply, because this is just a game list, just a database like any other, double click on a game and it'll jump you right to the game. That's it. That's how you run engine tournaments in the Fritz interface. You can set up any number of engines, any number of games. Just realize that while this is going on, you have to leave your computer be for a while, and if you're going to pause the match, you can do that. It may affect the results, it may not. You can also adjudicate games, as we saw. For example, if you really need your computer right now, don't want to wait for the end of a game, you could just click on that button and make it a draw or whatever you want to do. So you can tweak the results a little bit. But that's how you do it. It's that simple. It's not very difficult to do at all. Just remember that engine versus engine matches on the same computer don't really mean a ton unless you have them run hundreds and hundreds of games. There's entire message boards on the internet about the whole topic of chess engines versus chess engines, and the consensus seems to be over many years of posting and many years of experimenting by people that you really need two computers that are just dead identical to each other, connected by a null modem cable, and have one engine running on each computer to really get a true result. And even then, you need to run hundreds of games of one engine against another. It's an interesting, cool little thing to do, but please don't bombard me with emails and phone calls about how such and such beat Fritz, or Fritz beat such and such, or whatever, because realistically, because of that adjudication button where you can click and you can just assign a result, sending me a cross table or sending me a result really doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, unless an engine versus engine match or engine versus engine tournament is run under controlled impartial conditions. The end results don't really mean a whole heck of a lot, and they generally mean more to the programmers than they do to a guy like me, where my goal is to just teach you how to use the software. Otherwise, I'd be looking at games all day long. I get emails all the time from people. How come Fritz played this move here? I just pass that on to the programmers. I don't even look at it. Otherwise, that's all I'd get done all day long. But now you know how to do it. Over the last several videos, you've got a video where you can have an engine play against itself, an engine play against another engine, and a group of engines all play against each other. So now you know how to do it. Till next time, for Chess Base Workshop, I'm Steve Lopez, recommending that you do please have fun.